make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees.
Alrighty, good morning from Paradise Servers. Happy Tuesday. It is November 4th. We got the whole surf crew in the house. The market is red, red, red. We got blood in the streets, ladies and gentlemen. Is this the time to buy the dip, or are we going lower? We will take a look at the charts, the support levels, and discuss where are we going next. More hacks, more exploits, more shenanigans in the crypto markets. Is this why the market's being driven lower, or is that just a pretext and the whales continue to dump on our heads and the market makers continue to manipulate? We will discuss that as well. We got some catalysts coming. Looks like the shutdown may be coming to an end soon. We know the Fed is meeting in approximately 1 month from now. Rate cuts on the horizon, QE on the horizon, market structure built on the horizon as well. Reasons to be hopeful. The hopium does not run low here at Crypto Paradise. It's how I've gotten through so many of these crashes and corrections. You got to keep the faith sometimes, people. So here we are. We're staying positive. We're staying bullish. What are your guys' thoughts on today's sell-off? I memean, I started thinking, hey, maybe it's going to bounce here. And that was yesterday. I was thinking that. You wake up and we're down further. I know, Nick, and Nate, you've been talking about sweeping the lows at around these levels. What are your thoughts on today's dump?
Think we might be pre-rich till 2020, pre-rich till 26. That's my new catchphrase. Pre-rich till 26. Yeah, I think obviously we hit the we've hit the wick low from earlier from the liquidation event. At least on Bitcoin, I think a lot of alts are going to bleed down to their wick lows as well. So a lot of those probably have a ways to go yet. Bitcoin definitely could still see, down into the 90s, maybe even lower over the next little bit here. I don't know, but I still don't think the cycle's over, guys. Just it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of stuff we'll cover today, bullish, bearish, and otherwise. But something to think about. Like the last time we had a liquidation event like this. We've never had a liquidation event like this. FTX is probably the closest thing, and the FTX event was 20 times smaller than what happened in October. It took the markets 4 months to start recovering, from the FTX event. It's been 2 weeks, well, 3 weeks almost now, since we had the largest, like $40 billion in liquidations. Like, it makes sense the market's beat up and needs time to recover right now. I know we were all hoping for, a bullish November, but we had basically call it a black swan event, if you want, in October. The market needs time to heal. It's gonna, $40 billion in liquidations. Like, sentiment's low, cash is low, liquidity's low. Like, it's gonna take some time to spool back up. Yes, we've got a lot of bullish things in the background, a lot of catalysts, a lot of fires simmering right now. But originally back in like September or October, we were saying, hey, we'd hope. We think October is going to be volatile and down. Maybe early November starts picking up. I think that's been delayed a little bit. I think that's getting pushed towards the end of the year, maybe into early next year, maybe into early 2026. But all of the bullish factors that we've been talking about are still in play. QT is still coming to an end. QE hasn't begun yet. They're going to be printing insane amounts of money. There's still $7.5 trillion in the money market accounts, and M2 that's waiting to pour back into risk on assets. Next year's still an election year. They're still talking about doing the stimulus checks. They're still passing bullish crypto regulations. Countries are still adopting Bitcoin. There's still so much boiling in the background that I just cannot see us having hit the top. We haven't had a parabolic blow off even. So none of it makes sense for the top to be in, but I do think, as we said, the markets are changing, the cycle is changing. We could be having a little, what do you want to call it, crypto winter, 3-4 months of, sideways and down here. We've already been in a range for basically 6 months. We could be getting a pullback here from the previous all-time high. 30 to 40% pullbacks happen every single cycle. So I don't know. It's tough to see. The markets are brutal, but I am still very bullish and hopeful for 2026. Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, you can look here at the chart. Again, we have potential bullish divergence on the 4-hour here. Price continues to go lower while the RSI continues to hold itself. The technometer is neutral, so you don't have like a glaring buy here. We saw this on the liquidation crisis and saw a big rally. Will we get it again? I know a lot of people are hopeful of that. A lot of people were looking at this 103 level as first support because that's where these wicks were. If you could drop again, then you are looking down into the 90s most likely before you can hit support down here at 97 to 98 on this downtrend line. But this isn't like a set in stone amazing support level. You can look at your horizontal levels here at 100. You can look at another horizontal level here at 98. Now, does everybody get that? Because now a lot of people sentiment is really down. Everybody thinks in the 90s. Some people are saying 75, so I guess they could get left behind. But we'll see what happens here. Sitting in cash from previous trades up higher on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So I know it doesn't feel good for the alt positions, but we are out of these large caps from higher levels, as you can see on the chart. Same thing applies here on Ethereum. Another potential bullish divergence while RSI remains strong, putting even a higher low than it did yesterday, even though price is down another $200. Again, major support down here at 3,400. And nothing fun here, that's for sure. I mean, stocks are turning red today, which is helping drag the markets. I know we're going to talk about a couple of hacks. There was another hack, another exploit after the balancer one yesterday that drove the markets lower. So I guess we can dive into those. Now, what happens with these altcoins that had severe wicks? I'm not sure. We did sell Pengu, now 45% higher for profits. We bought the dip, sold the rally. And I mean, at some point, is there a buy on some of these altcoins? I don't know if all these wicks are true wicks. I think a lot of these are Fugazi because I do not see Pengu going down to 0.005. But we shall see. So a lot of these alts are down 20, 30, 40, 50% from the relief rally we saw just a couple weeks ago, which is pretty wild to see at this point in the market cycle. But just shows you retail liquidity is very thin, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear in the markets. And man, market sentiment is absolutely horrible right now.
Someone's going to make a lot of money right now. Someone or many people with the balls, whether it's the whales who are looking to buy the dips, whether it's the market makers, the exchanges that liquidate everyone is sitting on a bunch of cash, whether it's just the long-term chads who are out there believing in this asset class. Someone is going to buy the red, and those people are going to look back in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months ago. Man, I'm sure glad I bought that dip. I'll tell you guys a little story. Back in COVID times, remember that COVID crash, March 2020? I forget what Bitcoin was sitting at prior. I think it was like at 10,000 and it crashed to like 5 or 6 or something. It was a crazy crash. ETH dropped to like astronomically low prices. I scooped up a bunch at that time. And man, I'm so glad that I did. That's actually still a lot of my holdings is based on that buy because I just held on since then. So look, there's blood in the streets right now, sentiment all-time low. But as long as we are not entering into a multi-year bear market, which I do not believe we are, then this is a buying opportunity. It's a buy in the dip opportunity, guys. And I know a lot of you will wait until the green candles start materializing before you decide to buy in, and that's fine too. But I just think with all the tailwinds we have coming up, that sooner or later, this dip will be a distant memory. Everyone who bought the dip will be extremely happy, and the bears will be left in the dust.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me, why I don't think the market is over, leave all the other data out. It's just like, I can't see a world in which Ethereum just consolidated for 5 years, and that's it. That would be wild. Ethereum, the #2 crypto asset in the world, getting stablecoin regulation, getting DATs, getting big whales talking about it on CNBC, and it literally just consolidates for 5 years, doesn't even go to a new all-time high. That marks the top for a multi-year bear market. That just doesn't make sense to me.
None of it makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is pre-rich till 26. Pre-rich till 26. That's our new slogan, by the way. Forget see you on the beach. That's last year's slogan. Pre-rich till 26. It's all good, guys. I mean, honestly, put out some tweets yesterday and today just talking about the virtues of being patient and what it takes to make it in this space. And you're going to live through many, many, many of these moments and many of these dips. God knows we've all lived through, by ChatGPT's calculation, there's been 25 or more corrections of at least 20% on Bitcoin in the past 10 years. So we've lived through many, many, many of these. In the moment, they always suck. Let's not sugarcoat it. But given enough time, the market heals, as Nate said, I think very aptly, and it becomes a distant memory, and the prices are higher, and whoever bought the dip is glad, whoever held is glad, and whoever sold out and left the market ends up being sad. So just fast forward, put yourself in the future, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. I promise you, times will be better, guys. So hang on here, it's all good.
Yeah, and I know we're saying that now. Put yourself 3 to 5 months in the future, but it sucks because we've been doing that since the end of the last cycle. So we feel you guys. We feel your pain as well, but we have to do the same. Like, there's nothing else we can do. Take this, with the silver lining, DCA into your, into Bitcoin and Ethereum in your top conviction plays. Take this as an opportunity to stack some more cash to get more bags filled up. Like Amaru said, he capitalized on the COVID dump, on filling up a big bag of ETH that he's held for the last 5 years. So try to find the silver linings. I know if you go on crypto Twitter, it's nothing but doom and gloom and rage quitting and stuff. So maybe stay away from there. Tune in here. We'll try and bring you the positive news and the silver linings and get you through this mini winter or whatever this correction, this pullback turns out to be. But, like Hitman was saying, I can't see ETH consolidating for 5 years to go nowhere. Benjamin Cohen agrees. This is not what a downtrend looks like. Bitcoin dominance chart right there. There's a lot of blood in the streets, but there's a lot of bullish stuff, a lot of positive hopium out there if you want to look in the markets.
Well, I think the positive hopium, if I want to pull it up, is anybody who's been following along with the privacy sector. Because, Jesus, that's the only thing. Even in the face of all of this red, look at Horizon. Back to $21 while everything continues to shit itself. Yesterday at the highs was 25. If Bitcoin and ETH can just catch a bid and save itself, I think you're going to then finally see the blow off top for some of these privacy coins where you might want to trade out of them. You got Zen up again today, up 9.3%. You got Zcash still above $425, red on the day, but hit $491 yesterday after the live show. And then you got Dash, another Dino privacy coin, up 19% today, up to $142. All these charts look very similar. You had this long 6 months consolidation. You had this breakup, this bull flag that we talked about on Zen, a surge higher, another consolidation, and a move higher. So Dash looks like it's now leading Zen by a bit. If Zen was the catch up, Zen would be pushing like $40 to $45, which would mean another double up for Zen on these levels. So I don't know. We also saw that Decred. I looked this up. This is an old privacy coin. Look at that thing. From $17 to $42 in the matter of 3 days as it got its category switched back to privacy over on CoinGecko just 2 days ago. Pretty wild stuff to see. At least somebody's winning in the market. Hopefully you own some of these privacy coins. And what do you guys make of this? Like, how is it possible that this narrative and momentum continues on while Ethereum, Bitcoin, and everything else continues to dump?
Let's. I think my takeaway is we need to switch the filters on the Surf token to a privacy token real quick.
That would be a smart move.
Exactly.
Privacy on Pulse Chain. Switch it.
Why not? Yeah. No, look, this happens every cycle, guys. Every single cycle, in bearish periods, typically, you will have one single category, narrative, that's taking off and absolutely smashing while everything else languishes and continues down and to the right. So this time it happened to be privacy. I don't think there was a real true fundamental reason for it outside of Bitcoin whales apparently buying up Zcash and causing this massive pump. And then everyone's, hey, what's the next Zcash? It's just a momentum trade at this point. So I don't see much behind it outside of that. Everyone who got in or continues to get in, hell, probably makes sense to keep hunting for more privacy coins until you get a blow off top and this thing dumps and money shifts to another category. But this is how crypto works, guys. One single narrative or one single coin is all it takes to spark a narrative, which usually runs for 2-3 months until the next thing pops up. We've had memes, we had AI, we had metaverses, we had NFTs, we had DeFi, and now it's privacy. But it is, by the way, cool to see projects that I remember back when I first got into crypto in 2017 getting their moment in the sun again, like Dash and Decred. Those are names I hadn't heard in like 5 or 10 years. So it's kind of cool to watch, but it's just a momentum trade. It's just whatever the narrative is right now. And shout out to everyone who got in and continues to make money off of it.
I hope that direction continues, not just privacy, but utility, because all of these projects do have utility. They do have deflationary token supplies. Some are still mining proof of work. Some are proof of stake, but they're actual utility. It's not just a random meme coin where all of the supply was produced at once and that's it. We got some funny pictures. So it is nice to see that at least some utility projects are catching a bid in the form of Zen, Zcash, Dash, and now Decred. So pick your favorite flavor of the week. We have Zen positions because we got 4 or 5 buy setups on it. So that's what we're holding out of that sector. And it's nice that there's still some green in the portfolio while everything else is brutal right now. Also, remember, we did sell some assets. So we did sell Pengu like 45% higher, like we said. Sold some ETH trades, sold Bitcoin trades, sold Solana trades. So that feels okay. The reason it doesn't feel great is because we do have exposure to a lot of microcap and midcap altcoins, and those continue to get murdered. So yes, we did take some profits, but you know, a lot of things that we really like just continue to lag. A lot of pulse chain assets, Surf, PTGC, even though we're up on some of those assets still, it just doesn't feel as good as it did a couple months ago when they were 5x higher.
Yeah, I think given this pump, a wise strategy may be to position your portfolio across a multitude of different categories. This run on Zcash, which then spurred a run on all the other privacy, was, I would say, arguably unforeseeable, unless you're like an insider whale who, you know, basically caused the whole thing to happen. But to the average Joe, it was unforeseeable. Why not just have, like, don't you kind of wish, you know, thinking about it now, Nick already had a position in Zen because he's liked that project, followed that project for many years. Wouldn't it be smart to have a position in some leading assets across, how many categories are there in crypto? 8, 10 different categories. There are meaningful categories. RWA, AI, infrastructure, you know, L1s, L2s, memes, of course, maybe pulse chain assets as well. There's how many categories can there really be? Maybe grab some bags across all categories and watch, you know, you'll eventually hit it on the next runner, right? Because you'll be in one of the winning categories. Not a bad strategy. Have some dry powder to play with. Obviously, most of us do not. Shout out to everyone who foresaw this and got into the privacy sector before everybody else.
Yeah, the Zcash thing was kind of crazy. It's done about an 11x off the low in August, and nobody really even started talking about it until it already did like a 7x. So, you know, maybe my feed isn't, the algo isn't helping me see ZEC, but I didn't really hear anybody talking about it until it, you know, low-key did a 7x while Bitcoin was down 20%, which is pretty crazy to see.
Well, if you believe the stories you read on Twitter, you may come to believe that this was all orchestrated by whales, whether Bitcoin whales or other whales, because there's, I don't want to call it proof, but there's screenshots of there's screenshots of influencers who were contacted by these people to help, you know, do the marketing and orchestrate it. So theoretically, maybe you had a situation where whales bought in, caused that initial 5x, then they're like, all right, let's deploy the capital A influencers and help pump the rest of the thing, diamond hand it, so we don't kill the momentum. Who knows? Who absolutely knows? But I don't think you would need, by the way, Martin, because going back to my theory that this could work out of, you know, diversifying into 10 different categories. I don't think you need all the chains. You definitely not need all the chains. You don't need like the random shitty chains that no one's on. Just like the major chains, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, and Solana, I would say. And, you know, the categories, 10 categories on those. Maybe it's a thought. Maybe it is, who knows? It could work. It probably would work.
But barring that,
you can pick the winners.
Barring that, turn on the notifications for all the Crypto Paradise tweets and live streams. I think we've called and front ran most of those trends over the last 24 months or so. I mean, Nick was calling the privacy trend before that popped off. I know he just got in the private group had a call that did a 3x on was it Zen or Dash or one of those with the privacy trend. We've called out plenty of other trends like this in the past, whether it's memes or you know, other things, AI, etc. So I mean, that's your alternative is tune into Crypto Paradise. Make sure you're in the Crypto Paradise in the Surf DAO in that alpha group, And there you go. You're going to catch all those trends.
Yeah,
Most
talking
of
about
it,
trends, is RWA going to be a trend? I know the market looks shitty, but the Surf DAO did get an opportunity to invest in the pre-sale of Backstage Global, an RWA platform with real artists, real revenue, and real buybacks and burns. And they're supposed to be launching tomorrow on Kraken, MEXC, and a decentralized exchange. Do you think the launch still happens, number one? And do you think this is something that we'll be bragging about, another big win for the Crypto Paradise community that could spur more Pulse Chain adoption? Because remember, the only way to get into opportunities such as this is you got to get money on Pulse Chain, you got to buy 200,000 Surf and get in that DAO group.
Yeah, so first of all, it will absolutely launch tomorrow, barring something unforeseen and completely crazy, because they have basically announced across all their platforms that it is launching on Kraken on the 5th of November. And in fact, the founder told us that Kraken itself was the one who proposed the 5th of November date because remember the 5th of November. That's like some saying from history, right? So it's catchy, it's memorable. So they're absolutely going to launch tomorrow. Now, is it going to do 100 times? Is it going to do the 50x we're all hoping for? Well, I mean, look, it's launching at $119,000 market cap. So it's absolutely minuscule, tiny baby market cap. It's launching on the second biggest exchange in the U.S., right? Coinbase is number one, Kraken's number two. That's it, guys. So for them to get this initial launch on Kraken is an incredible feat. Now, do we need the market to cooperate? Yes. Do we need RWAs potentially to come back into vogue? I think that will be very helpful for the long-term potential of the project. But from our investment and our perspective, I think it's going to be a big winner. Even if the market's relatively low, down, I should say, because the initial market cap is starting so low. So you can't really lose. Obviously, we'll see. Do your own research. Knock on wood here. But I remain very bullish on. I think it can do extremely well. Just got to catch a couple of lucky breaks, and you could be looking at 100x.
Agreed. I mean, from the position that we got in with the Surf DAO, we've got a 600-ish, 700-ish K market cap pump gets us a full return on our initial investment. Then it's house money after that. Everybody's laughing. So obviously we hope to do better than that. They definitely have the potential to do better than that. The only thing that would potentially hold them back is we know how difficult launches can be when it's a red market, right? We've had how many days of red candles in a row now? What are we looking at here? 2 days in a row of like red candles.
Feels longer than that, though. It feels like multiple months of red.
But if we get a bounce here today, get a nice green candle or two for the next couple days, I think everything's going to be all right there.
Yeah, we see it here. Remember the 5th of November. Kraken, MEXC, and a question mark. I don't know if this will be the DEX, because I know they're going to have a DEX listing over on Base Chain as well. So we'll see if that's what they're talking about here. But we'll see. Of course, it's tough with the red in the market, but a lot of big backers. We see they're doing a Mario New Fall Spaces. They didn't give a lot of tokens away in the form of marketing spend, and they also have cliffs on nearly every investment round. The only rounds that don't have cliffs is the public round. Doesn't have a cliff, but they only raised 100K in the public round. And the final flash sale for KOLs has no cliff, but it's only 10% at TGE and then 8-month linear. So when you have these cliffs, it gives the projects time to get hype up, to get revenue up, to get the word out, to get users of the platform. But it also means that if the early sellers get out, there's nobody to sell tokens for those multiple months, which gives the market time to flip green as well, and people to feel good about market sentiment, find some more cash and profits from other things to get in projects like Backstage. And RWA is a sector that I think will be hot before the end of this market cycle.
I mean, it's the most talked about market. It's the most talked about sector, I think, overall within Web3 right now, and certainly within TradFi. Every single banker in TradFi has RWA coming out of their mouth. Every institution is talking about tokenizing this, tokenizing that. Whether it's next year or the next cycle, RWA has the potential to be the biggest single sector within all of Web3, maybe outside of AI, but a lot of AI companies don't necessarily need, they don't need crypto to do AI. RWA doesn't exist without blockchain.
Yeah, I think the narrative is aligned with what the market wants. The product already has users generating revenue. The big caveat here is the overall market conditions. But I will remind folks who have been with us for a long time and been investing in pre-sales with us for a long time. Who remembers the investments that we made back? This was end of 2020, right? I'm talking about the Bondleys of the world, Pools of the world. Now, a lot of these, when they launched, actually didn't really do that well. NetVRK, who remembers that one? They didn't do that well for a month, 2 months, while the market was kind of doing whatever, and people were selling out some of their pre-sale allocation. But then, stars align. QE starts, COVID hits, and the government starts printing money and sending everyone stimulus checks. Those turned into 100x plays that, you're, a couple $1,000 investment, you could claim every month or whatever. People were claiming 10 grand, 20 grand a month from their measly $1,000 or $2,000 investment, and this would go on for months. I remember claiming, oh, cool, like 10 grand, 20 grand, like just crazy numbers, guys. So look, will it happen again here? I don't know for a fact, but I could definitely foresee a situation where initially it launches, does okay, nothing crazy, maybe a few X, maybe 5X, whatever. But then market turns up and you got your tokens vesting to you over that 8-month period, and all of a sudden those claims turn into significant, chunks of change hitting your wallet, 5 grand, 10 grand, whatever, every month. So fingers crossed it transpires like that. Obviously, a lot has to align. A lot of startups have to align. I want to go back to one thing Nate said earlier before I forget that I took issue with. I know it feels shitty right now, right? This has been not fun for the past 6 months or whatever. But if you go back, certainly a year ago on Bitcoin, maybe about 6-8 months ago on ETH, we're still up tremendously from those levels, from 6 months to 12 months ago. So I know right now it feels shitty, but look, zoom out and you look a year back. If you're in the right assets, if you're in Bitcoin, if you're in ETH, Solana, etc., your portfolio is higher than it was a year ago. So let's not get too down in the dumps now. I know it feels bad, but Ethereum's still at $3,500, Bitcoin's at above 100 grand. A year ago, that was certainly not the case. So let's just zoom out. Let's not despair too much, and let's be happy we're in these markets rather than we cheated out a year ago.
Yeah, and again, I think if we fast forward a year too, we'll also be feeling much better.
Do we have any news articles to share? I think, Nate, you might have had something, but we haven't talked about the exploit. We haven't talked about the hack.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of stuff to go through here on the news front. Not all of it bad, not all of it good. But
as you're pulling that up, let me just say hello to our loyal listeners who are gunning for that $1,000 a month that we're just giving away to our loyal community members. Hello, Martin. Good morning, Michapo. Good morning. Instead of buy the dip, I'd like to sell the top. Well, the top isn't in yet. So, we ain't selling. Not yet, anyway. Welcome, Todd. Smash the like, share, subscribe. Thank you, sir. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Rema. And, yes, of course, stick with Paradise. Stick with Surf. That's how you make it in the long run, guys. That's how you make it in the long run. I think, anyway. I'm very happy to be here. Hope you guys are, too. And shout out to Bagito. Only ones who are complaining are the people who bought late. Yeah, sure. That's always is, right? People who bought the top, they're upset. I'm not that upset because, I bought in 5 years ago to crypto, 10 years ago even. So I'm like, I know it sucks right now, but I'm still pretty happy.
Yeah, that happens every cycle. Although
what else happens every cycle are these goddamn exploits. When are people going to learn?
Yeah, and so this is a brand new one. We just talked about the balancer exploit yesterday. Brand new one today with Moonwell DeFi. Now, this one is still pretty much emerging, but this is a post coming out from a Certic alert. Not sure what the exploit vector was, not sure what the details are, or how much money has been sold, but it looks like at least 5.8 million, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but anyways, this is still ongoing. Moonwell DeFi, obviously not super huge. I haven't even heard of them before, but certainly more fuel for these red candles when we see, Certic posting on their alerts channel, another hack just happened, another exploit when we're like less than 48 hours away from the last one, which it was a almost $120 million hack of a major DeFi protocol. To make things worse, on top of this exploit, there is the stream finance issues. Not necessarily an exploit or a hack here. Stream Finance was a fund, essentially. They had, I believe, 250-ish million, or maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was 290 million under management from a lot of top VCs and other funds out there. And it was announced today they are pausing they're pausing withdrawals and deposits into their fund while they try to figure out where $93 million went. So obviously not managing those funds very well, as they are down 93 million in a very short period of time. Bold, as always, with a great meme, kind of assessing the overall situation here. But Stream Finance suspends all withdrawals and deposits to investigate the loss of approximately $93 million in funds, more than 1/3 of their entire portfolio, or the entire fund balance, or principal of, like I said, just shy of 200 million there. A lot of big names caught up in this. Trying to find them. I had them here a second ago. But a lot of very recognizable funds and VCs that were caught up in this, the tunes of tens of millions of dollars. So again, more negative, more bearish sentiment piling in on top of an already very, very bearish, very poor sentiment market. Definitely leading to a bigger push on these red candles here today, as the markets have woken up in the U.S. and driven us down below 103 here, where we just got a little bit of a bounce a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing as well. It's like, this isn't the end-all be-all of why you have red candles, but an additional 93 million, 5 million, and 120 million of sell pressure and fear definitely doesn't help the market in any way when it comes to crypto, when you're already low liquidity due to the red candles in the market.
Well, I'll tell you why it does help. It's going to take glass half full approach. When the tide shifts out, you see who's swimming naked, right? That's the saying. So were these guys over leveraged? My guess is that they were. I mean, who remembers when the FTX crash happened? It wasn't just FTX. It was a bunch of funds.
It was like Celsius, Luna, Voyager, all over leveraged, promising clients too much yield or whatever.
Correct. So when the tide shifts out, you see who's swimming naked. You get those, I don't know what you call them, bad actors, but you can call them over-leveraged risk takers out of the markets. It allows time to give it a little time to heal, I should say, and sentiment can slowly improve, and people can, dip their toes back in the water when they feel a little bit more bullish. But look, this is what happens, guys. When there's big crashes, you see who's swimming naked. And Stream Finance was apparently swimming naked. Now, I could look, my take could be wrong if it turns out that they just, ran off with the money or fucking, got hacked or something. But if they were just trading poorly and got leveraged and liquidated, then this is what happened, guys. When the market goes down, you see who's swimming naked.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some interesting things that come out in the next few weeks about some malfeasance. I doubt that a fund that's trusted by that many high-level VCs, loses 40% of their portfolio value that quick of a time period without something going on in the background. I mean, it's certainly possible. Stranger things have happened. This was a black swan event. A lot of good traders did get caught up in, but I don't know. We'll see. I'd imagine there's something that happens. These exploits, these hacks. There's always some sort of at least accusations or indications of some sort of insider business going on.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. We won't speculate further on it because we don't want to get it wrong. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I don't actually get too caught up in it because I'm with Rema here, not calling for anything. But maximum FUD usually comes at bottoms. Completely agree. If you were to buy in during the FTX crash, you'd be up massively right now. So just remember that. And look at this crypto fear and greed index. And people want to tell me that we already had a top and that the bull run's over. We never had greed. We never had euphoria. Now here we are in near max fear. What do you think this all means, gents?
One thing I was going to point out is, and you can't see it as well on the Zoom here, but last time that we were this fearful was around the tariff announcements back in January here. And as you can see, the chart put in a beautiful bullish W pattern there. And wouldn't you know it, what do you see right here? We're putting in another possible bullish W on the fear and greed index there. We need to come down a little bit lower. Looks like this is at well, lower than 27 there, but coming back down, approaching this previous fear spot. If we get a pump up off of that, we could be setting in another W on the fear and greed index here, which we all know what happened back in April when we got out of the kind of the tariff slump. We pumped to new all-time highs there. So could take some time, but I don't know. I think that's maybe some hopium or a little bullish indicator if we're going to pull something bullish off the fear and greed chart.
Yeah, we got NJ Dub over here talking about the crypto total market cap still up $1 trillion from April. Altcoin performance this cycle has everyone crying in the casino, though. I mean, we're still, at like 3.5 trillion market cap, while gold hit a 30 trillion market cap by itself. So I think that's where you can see the undervaluation. It's pretty wild to see that. I saw like year to date, we were at like 3.4 trillion, and then we've gotten up to like 3.9 trillion total for all of crypto. Now, that's not a bull market top if I've ever seen one. That's why it's just pretty wild. It's like traditional stock indexes went to multiple new all-time highs. Gold went to 30 trillion, and the total crypto market cap went to like 4 trillion. That doesn't look euphoric to me.
It's because we're still in phase 0, guys. And I say that like in jest, but also in all seriousness, because I do think we're going to look back in, again, 3 months, 6 months, I don't know how long, and we're going to say, oh yeah, actually, that was phase 0 because that was the time when investors were piling into the gold trade. Then they piled into the AI trade. They piled in S&P 500, the less risky of the risky assets. And then Fed cut rates again in December. They started QE shortly after. By the way, they're already doing shadow QE, guys. They've already injected like 50 billion, maybe 100 billion into the banking system to sort of stabilize some of the banks that were under a bit of stress. They've already done that. Kind of shadow QE is happening now. But anyway, we're going to look back and we're going to say, wow, yeah, look at the Bitcoin and total market cap of crypto. It's up to 7 trillion. It's at 10 trillion, right? I wish I had bought back in that dip when it hit 100,000. Damn. Stupid.
The longer we go sideways before hitting a substantial all-time high without getting into dangerous pullback territory where we're, blowing past what's reasonable for a bear market and, going into an actual official, crypto winter bear market like we've seen in cycles past where it's, 18 months to the bottom and, or, whatever, 400 plus days, whatever it is, 425 days at the bottom, and roughly, 2 years of a bear market. The longer we continue to go sideways, stay in a reasonable range before ripping to a new serious all-time high. And I don't mean hitting, going from the previous all-time high of 124 to 125 and a half. Like, that's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about a real new all-time high. The longer we do that, the larger potential we have for not only an extended cycle, but a much longer extended cycle and a higher peak for BTC throughout that cycle. We've been saying this since January last year, for almost a year now. So, again, tough now.
I know, but it just means that I'm pre-rich.
Yeah.
For so much longer. And I'm ready to be rich. It could be a blessing in disguise. I'm sick of being pre-rich. So you're telling me I got to wait longer. That's okay. That's okay. I don't mind. I mean, it's just money. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, if we go through the scenario we have to suffer through until mid Q1 next year, that could be setting us up for one of those crazy scenarios, the Arthur Hayes scenarios, where we rip into 2027 or something crazy like that. So that would definitely kind of confirm our scenario of Bitcoin going from the 4-year cycle more to an ETF style cycle where it's up for a few months sideways, up for a while longer. Again, all of this is still on the table. Not trying to completely, blow smoke up your ass, but these are all things we've been talking about for months and months now. And we're starting to see some stuff play out. So We haven't
Retired,
capitulated
This
yet.
is Nick sentiment right here. Let's get a sentiment check.
Jesus Christ! Stop telling me. Oh my God, nothing till 2027 now. Jesus.
No.
We'll
The
be,
bull
guys,
market
we'll
is
be
extending to
rich in our
2027. It starts
60s,
before that.
Like, yeah, 60s, 75 years old. My Bitcoin will finally be worth 300,000. So that's okay. That's okay. I can handle it.
Martin says pre-rich, cash poor, making memes. There you go.
Dude, that's what it's all about, man. You got to find the joy in these markets. You got to find something to keep you going, right? It could be these live streams. I don't know. Hope you guys are enjoying it. By the way, Moonmutt, shout out to Moonmutt. What's up, buddy? Thank you for joining the Surf DAO. Superman on Crypto Night gave a shout out. I did not know that. We'll have to hit them up and give them their thanks and see what's good with those guys. It's been a minute, but yeah, look, you got to find something in this market that gets you excited. Could be researching new narratives, new coins. It could be joining these live streams. It could be making memes. Or it could be, you know what, just holding your assets, touching grass, and doing something else. Right? Going to the gym. I don't know, whatever makes people happy. Bagito, what makes you happy, bud? 26 is going to be good. You can't prove it. And I think Trump hasn't even started on crypto. Man, dude, I completely agree with you, but you know how you prove it. You know how you prove it. The proof is that we're telling you that that's what's going to happen. That's the proof. That's all the proof you need. Us three jabronis up here telling you we're going to be pre-rich forever. But I jest. But look, I think you're absolutely right, man. Like, all the tailwinds, the QE that's coming, it's already happening. Trump's going to get this market structure bill passed. We are going to see trillions flood in this asset class. There is so much money out there, guys, between everything in equities, everything in money markets, between all the market cap of gold. We're talking about $100 to $200 trillion of the value of all liquid assets in the world, right? Liquid, not real estate. Set that aside. You don't think we can't get a couple trillion to trickle in here in the next 6 months or so? Couple trillion dollars to flow into Bitcoin and ETH and some altcoins over the next few months? That's like minuscule. That's like nothing, guys, if you look at the total value of all assets, liquid assets in the world. So I agree with you, man. Trump's going to make it happen. The Fed's going to make it happen. The only question is, are you guys still going to be here to benefit from it?
We'll be right here. We'll be sitting in front of these cameras. Our sentiment isn't being calculated in here, but yeah, you're asked about what makes you happy. What are you doing to keep your mind positive? I spent a good portion of this morning trolling people on that were being ridiculous, rage quitting, talking just mad shit on Twitter, and just I made a few fun memes and all sorts of good stuff. But yeah,
I will say there is like a high of people literally. Normally people are in the dumps and whatever, but I have had several messages of people saying it's over. They're kind of giving up, and I don't think they're selling all their bags, but they're not looking to buy anymore. The sentiment, maybe they're selling. Like people literally DMing me or face palming, be like, "It's over. The top's already in. See you in a few years." And I mean that shows you how low it is in the trenches.
Bullish, bullish.
Yeah, willing to sell out their bags and give up. You know, with all the macros there are, and with alts down massively. So it's just like if you're swapping out your alts now.
Yeah, I've been retweeting a few of these here. We've had Rand Neuter. Everybody's been doing these polls, and I've just been clicking on them to see how what their rating is. And 61% of you are not gonna make it. Earlier, I think there was another one from earlier in the day that was like 40-some%. It's been growing over the last few days. But yeah, as you can see, I just had some fun today trolling some people. So here's the other one. 42% of you not going to make it.
The number of people capitulating and acting depressed, selling whatever, leaving the market. That number will continue to grow up until the point that the whales, the exchanges, and the market makers decide to pump this asset class again, and everyone's going to FOMO and higher. Isn't that what always happens, guys? Right? If you believe, as I believe, that this market is highly manipulated, then the logical conclusion you must reach is that the powers that be, the manipulators, let's call them that, they don't just manipulate the price down, although they do make money on shorts. They also manipulate the price up when the time is right, when they bought back in lower. That's just how it is, guys. That's how it goes. And they'll wait for you guys to cheat out. They'll wait to the capitulation. They'll wait until the sellers and the non-believers are gone, and then they'll start pumping your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana again, causing people to FOMO in, and then they will sell on their heads, and that's how they make money, guys. So this doesn't have to be rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's just kind of the way crypto is. If you can kind of understand these basic facts, it's actually really not that hard to win.
This, yeah, I mean, speaking of manipulation, you know, here's a speculative potential for when the manipulation could turn around for us on alts. Benjamin Cohen talking about last cycle, altcoin BTC pairs found a major low at 0.25, which corresponded to the end of QT. Interesting how those aligned so perfectly. Perhaps, and I know this may sound crazy, alt Bitcoin pair goes again down to 0.25, and then QT ends in December, leading to early Q1 starts to pump again.
2019. It's 2019, guys. Just rewind to 2019. This is exactly the same shit that happened. QT. They squeeze, the Fed squeeze the economy. They squeeze the financial markets to the extent possible. They're trying to tamp out and stamp out that inflation, right? That's their, one part of their dual mandate. And once they've squeezed all the blood out of that orange or all the juice they can get out of it, they say, you know what? We fucked the economy enough. The labor market's about to crash. The banks are about to go insolvent. They're about to have mass bankruptcies across all of the economy. Well, you know what we got to do? We got to pump this market back up, baby. And they start pushing money back in the economy. And eventually, a couple months lag, because everything's on a lag when it comes to the Fed. These things don't happen overnight. But eventually, they pump enough into the economy, into the markets, that everything starts to pump again. And the cycle continues ad infinitum, over and over until we die. So guys, it doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be that hard. Just understand how this all works. The Fed, the economy, quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, it all goes and flows and ebbs. We are going to be completely fine, y'all. Just wait until the Fed turns the money printer on. Give it a couple months, and we're flying once again.
You know what's beautiful? If we are sitting into 2019 right now, you know what that means? Not only is the QE and stuff coming, but we would have another 18 to 20 months of bull market left.
Does that mean we get another pandemic too?
If we're
March
lucky.
2026, we get another pandemic? Let's
And
go.
stimulus checks.
Bill
and
Gates,
else
do
that
your
comes
thing,
with it.
brother. Do your thing. Let's engineer the next pandemic. I'm ready for some more stimulus checks.
Oh, that may happen with or without a new scamdemic. We'll see.
Scamdemic, yeah.
Meanwhile, while everything looks red, Surf just slowly keeps buying and burning itself. Now 3.67% of the total supply has been bought and burned off the open market. Another 4,500 Surf bought in the last 24 hours. So prices suck everywhere. Altcoins suck. Pulse chain sucks. Surf price is way too low. But slowly but surely, it's just buying and burning itself away. So when the tides change, there's that many less tokens out there in the open market to be bought up and or to be sold on the market, which means we could get a big slingshot effect on these assets that are doing this that we like.
Yeah, I'm almost glad that we've had these depressed prices, because it just means that, your $1,000 buy gets you that much more Surf, burns that much more Surf. So, let's let this thing play out. In a few months, we may have burnt 7% of the Surf supply. You know what I mean? So all good here from my standpoint. Obviously not fun to live through it, but you got to, got to eat your vegetables sometimes, guys. This is just how life works. You got to get through the shit. I just got back into working out. You don't get jacked overnight. You got to go through the shit. You got to go through some hard work. You got to, test yourself a little bit. Same thing in these financial markets. It ain't going to come easy, but eventually will come if you put in the work and you reap your rewards during the bull run.
Yeah, you got to puke in the gym trash can a few times before you're going to be ready to run that 5-minute mile.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't work out that hard now. Let's just not go crazy. I'm not trying to run a marathon or anything, but, I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. But all my point is, you got to get through the shit in life to get to the pot at the end of the rainbow, folks.
Well, we can kind of switch gears, switch gears into something a little more esoteric, a little more kind of theoretical that we can discuss. And I thought this was really interesting. I saved this article because it's stuff that we've actually talked about maybe a month or two back in terms of how the holders are changing. Credible Crypto is talking about how he thinks that our bear market that's upcoming is going to be the worst we've ever seen, and he blames that on the shift from OG long-term diamond-handed holders selling into new TradFi and unexperienced investors that aren't going to be able to hold through dips, that aren't experienced aren't used to going through these kind of dips before. Similar to, like, Amar, you were talking about this just the other day, of where a lot of these big bulls that have, or whales that have held for years and years are selling their, $100 million or $1 billion positions, and, handing that money off to other people. And he's kind of expressing that's what's happening. And he's saying that's going to trigger the biggest bear market and the biggest correction that we've seen. But then you have Lau Rothi coming in, expressing a sentiment that we've talked about a lot in the past, that in fact the opposite's true, that these big long-term whales are selling into TradFi. They're selling into buyers that are 401k buyers, who are pretty much algorithmic buyers that are buying every week or every month as those paychecks comes in into their 401ks automatically. It's managed by funds, and that these are locked in long-term holders who are holding for their retirement funds. And so I kind of had like two interesting perspectives in the same tweet thread here. Two perspectives that we've talked about both on this channel. So I thought it'd be something fun we kind of chat about a bit on what do we think as we do see this shift from some of these big whales that are early adopters, big believers, people that are very passionate about this industry, to a more inexperienced TradFi holder with a lot of these ETFs and funds that have come in. What do we think? How does that change the dynamic of the holder perspective?
Yeah, I saw this tweet yesterday too. I think part one of his take is correct. Part two is incorrect. Part one is that we are undergoing what I've been calling the great rotation or great replacement, right? The early OGs, true believers, whatever, bought in before crypto was really a thing, Bitcoin was really a thing, are now selling to the institutional Wall Street types, the Michael Saylors of the world, the ETF buyers, etc. By the way, we have not yet gotten 401k buyers, and that's coming. That was an executive order was signed by Trump, and I believe the Republicans set forth the bill. Hasn't yet been put into effect. That would, in fact, allow 401k investors to invest through their 401k into crypto. Hasn't happened yet. It is going to come. The reason why the second part of his take doesn't make sense to me is that the new buyers, the Wall Street types, institutional types, right, we just talked about, they are longer term by nature. They are not cheats. They are not, trained to buy something one day and sell it the next day just because there's a correction. They're trained to buy and hold something for 30 years until they're retired, right? So it doesn't make sense to me that we would then have this massive crash just because the new buyers were the institutions are now somehow cheats. Is that what this guy's trying to tell us? Now look, some of the ETF buyers we know they're individuals, and I'm sure some of them are GD. But on the whole, you're going to have more people that are longer term and more diamond-handed. The other thing that he doesn't account for is as you have greater distribution of the asset, right? More people holding fewer coins, each of them, rather than like one dude that has 10,000. One dude with 10,000 Bitcoin can really fuck the price. Just look at the chart for the past 6 months. That's what's been going on. But when you have much wider distribution and everyone has just like 0.1 Bitcoin, well, that guy, if he cheats, doesn't really affect anything. It doesn't hurt the market. So I think it's a backwards take. I don't think it makes sense. I think it's clickbait, or I think it's just bear market, getting to this guy, and now he's looking for reason to be bearish. Let's get him on the show. Let's debate this dude, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be wrong.
Yeah, also remember that these institutions such as BlackRock, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, whatever, they're incentivized to get and hold as much AUM as long as they can because they get fees paid to them either on a monthly or a quarterly basis based on the AUM. Not the performance of the underlying asset, but based on the AUM itself. How much are they holding? How much are they getting clients to buy and hold? That's what they get paid on, and that's their passive income generation right there. This is probably also a part of the reason why Coinbase's last earnings call was actually surprisingly good, even though retail hasn't been in the market. Because remember, BlackRock is then using Coinbase Institutional and Coinbase Custody to hold those assets and paying them a part of their fee. So Coinbase is making money simply by custodizing all these assets for all these institutions. So I think the trend is our friend for that. Even though Bitcoin price is down, the number of shares for these spot ETFs has actually increased, meaning that ETF participation has gone up even though price is down, and that's the rotation theory that you're talking about, and also shows that people in the ETFs are buying for the long term. Now, could the top already be in? And all the institutionals, all the institutions, the Michael Saylors, the Joe Lubins, the Thomas Lees are the ones who are going to get caught holding the bag? I guess that's possible, but that seems very unlikely.
Yeah, like I've said many times before, I would rather put my money on the credentialed, public-facing Wall Street billionaires than I would rather put my money on, anonymous dude on X named Credible, right? Like, so you kind of have to ask yourself, like, which guru do you want to follow? Who do you believe in more? Who do you trust has more knowledge and more understanding of the financial markets and of this market? Could we be wrong? Sure. We could be wrong. Could Michael Saylor be wrong? Yeah, I guess he could. Could Tom Lee be wrong? Yeah, I guess he could. But my guess is Credible is much more likely to be wrong than Tom Lee.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what we've been seeing, all this negative sentiment, I mean, there is negative sentiment in the market, but a lot of the big guys or these, medium-sized KOLs out there that are posting ridiculous stuff. There's a lot more stuff that's way more ridiculous than this out there for sure, even there. It's engagement farming. They don't really think the market's going to zero. They don't really think half the shit they're posting is true. They're posting it because they know it's going to piss people off and make them comment and argue and make their viewers go up and make their hack the algorithm and get them more attention.
That going on. Take everything with a grain of salt you see on social media and on the internet, but yeah, I think there are a lot of people within the crypto space, crypto natives you want to call them, who actually do believe in the 4-year cycle still. They believe it's over. They sold out. I'm in a lot of groups where, the lead KOL, et cetera, or leaders in that group, or they're sold out and all that stuff. But put yourself in the shoes of typical TradFi guy, TradFi billionaire, or even TradFi regular Joe. They don't look at things on a week to week. They don't look at the price every day and start panicking. Oh my God, they're looking at stuff on year over year, and they're looking year over year, and they say, oh my God, Bitcoin is still my best performing asset over the past 12 months. It's still up 100%, right? I know Nvidia may have outperformed it, but regardless, it's one of my best performing assets in the past 12 months. That's how they look at things. So as long as we're up 30% year over year, that's, by the way, Michael Saylor's prediction. That's how we get to $10 million Bitcoin over the next 20 years. Then we're good. TradFi guy's happy with 30, very happy with 30%. My God, extremely happy. So put yourself in the shoe of TradFi guy. Don't put yourself in the shoe of random degen who is anonymous on X. And I think you're going to end up being fine.
Agreed.
What else have we not covered? We kind of looked at Bitcoin. We looked at Ethereum, kind of showed the potential bullish divergences. We talked about how privacy is outperforming everything. We talked about how Surf is slowly burning itself away, even though prices are shitty. And, hopefully the backstage launches tomorrow does very well. And that is a big win for Crypto Paradise current community, but also onboards more people into the Surf DAO and over to Pulse Chain as well.
Yeah, make sure you're locked in tomorrow if you are participating in that raise, or if you want to just kind of keep an eye on how things are going. We will have announcements going. We'll be talking in the community groups as well as the Surf DAO, giving you updates on when the actual launch time is and everything that you will need to know to make sure that you can capitalize on your investment there. It is a airdrop, I believe, correct, for the
claiming
allocation?
Claiming portal, as I understand it.
Okay.
So you'll go to their claim portal site, and you will see your allocation. You'll claim your tokens on Base Chain, and it's listed on Kraken, MEXC, and I believe Adex, and maybe one other exchange. So plenty of liquidity.
Make sure you have some gas for Base Chain, so you're not standing there with your dick in your hand when you're trying to claim your tokens, going shit, watching the price go like this, wanting to be one of the people that can get your tokens and can do what you want with them. Made that mistake many times before. So get yourself some gas in your wallet that you're going to be claiming those tokens on tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow to make that happen. Do we know what time approximately they're going to be doing the
I do not. We'll get that information from them. I'm sure they'll be announcing on their socials. This is not something that's just going to be a stealth launch. It's on Kraken, right? They're going to make an announcement and stuff. So it should be good. Excited for that. We're actually on a call with Quants right now, another project that we've been invested in and been helping out for multiple years now. Very bullish on that one too. So we got to jump off and get on the call with Michael there. But great stuff today. Hope you guys are locked in. Hope you're staying bullish. And until next time.